Welcome back to the Eric Krown Crypto channel, wishing you a happy healthy start to this like Monday morning. It's a new week. Not so many opportunities, actually. Probably going to have to be waiting until Tuesday and Wednesday. We got Jay Powell, I believe, testifying. And then next week, of course, you got CPI prints. So do things more or less range here in the short term? Probably yes. Bitcoin's been in a bit of a line chart. Anyways, what has not been a line chart has actually been a poll chart. We're looking at some polls over here of which we want to get an idea of what the community is missing the most for the people who this is relevant for. So if you notice, I put up a Twitter poll and a YouTube poll as well. And actually the answers were very consistent amongst both of them as to, what is keeping you, assuming that you are not a successful trader, what is keeping you from being a successful trader? The reason why I say that is because there's a lot of comments yesterday where people were like, they're like very insulted, like, what the fuck? I am successful. It's like, all good, man. It's all good. Like, I'm not here to insult you or anything. I'm just curious. I'm just fucking curious, man. Anyways, same thing over here on YouTube, which I thought was rather interesting. And of course, there will be a survey in the link in the description of this particular video. That goes a little bit more in depth. Anyways, I want to start with this analysis right back on over here on the HPGR indicator. Yes, we will be going over a few setups as well, maybe a little bit later, but I want to start things off right here because basically nothing's changed. And I just want to show the consistency of this with the daily showing the bottom side of the blue 50% of historical returns range lows right around that 22,200 pivot or so on a daily closing basis. Let me just actually make sure that my microphone's working. All right, it seems like it is okay. So that's good. We can move on now. What does that essentially mean? It essentially means that if Bitcoin does start to close below this region, especially on a close over closure, that's the point where I really would be looking for the next big legs down. Until that happens, however, Bitcoin a little bit more likely to see some mean reversion here if we do see volatility start to go into a contraction phase below the 50% marker on the BBWP indicator. So the idea is that returns are mean reverting, and when are they mean reverting? Well, they're mean reverting when volatility is, of course, contracting. And in this case, we're starting to see that happen yet again. Still, it's going to take at least like 2 days minimum, I'd say, before that really starts to come into effect. But you can start to see it populating now, which essentially said that if Bitcoin fails to break down here, probably within the next day or two, you're very likely to see a move back up somewhere around the median, which would actually be significantly higher. Until that happens, however, there is still risk to the downside, obviously, and a closure below 20, this region right here. Yeah. Risk maybe even all the way down to $20,000 is relevant. If we go over here to the 4-hour time frame, it would give us a deeper end actually of the blue 50% of historic returns range lows now. So I would not be calling a breakdown unless Bitcoin basically closes below the wick low that we saw on Friday, which was about 21,800. If that happens, that would also constitute a breakdown intraday based off this, and I'd be looking for a move down to about 21 even. And probably another try for a bounce there. And then at that point, assuming that bounce fails, very likely looking somewhere down around like mid to low $20,000. Until that happens, however, we should go, or actually before we get into the setup, we should go over stochastic momentum, just kind of see where the pivots are at right now. Because I think that this is rather interesting if we start off over here on the hourly time frame. The hourly time frame is actually going to be showing actually not so interesting. Momentum to the upside above 22,370. Bitcoin, basically trading sideways around that region for 2 going on 3 days straight now. 4-hour time frame also 22,360. Crazy actual shit right here. 6-hour time frame also going to be showing actually not $100 less, 2270. Sorry, 22,270. That is momentum to the upside. Is playing out a bit of a trendline regression test over here, I should say. But my chart's already too convoluted with too many damn lines in it already, so we'll just move on from there. 12-hour time frame also came down all the way to the critical zone. Will turn up above, what's this number? 22,378? Crazy, fucking crazy. And then the daily will actually turn up above 23. So this is yet another thing that does say that the longer that Bitcoin goes sideways here, the more likely it is to pop back up, which would be rather interesting because that would play in alignment with what we did see on traditional markets having a nice rally on Friday, reversal on Thursday, and then rally on Friday. So again, given another like day or two, if Bitcoin still isn't broken down, very likely we do see a pop back up. As both momentum and volatility plays would very likely be saying, a bit of a mean reversion here is likely in order before anything else. As far as areas of interest goes, in this case, we will bring up the we'll bring up the chart. Yes, we'll bring up the chart of the setup. And what is this? Well, let me just bring it up right here. Let me just make sure that you can actually see it. Okay, we're good on that note. And what we're looking at is yet another one of these jewel setups. We did see the last one fail, by the way. The 12-hour time frame did fail, I believe on Saturday it was. So, these are not infallible, obviously. But, when we're looking at the statistics, they are very much relevant, at least in my opinion. And I would say in the opinion of any reasonable person out there. But you can't make assumptions with that, I suppose. Anyways, in this case, what essentially is the setup? The setup is this. Whenever we've seen the 4-hour jewel light go below the 35 level, which we can see right here, and then turn white on the first tick, which we saw right here, and more recently right here, alongside the daily trend being in the same direction, in this case to the upside. Well, that has aligned with these statistics being relevant for a nice move to the upside. Let me make sure that you can see this as well. Yeah, there we go. So this is backtested data over the past 3 years, going back to 2019, you'll notice that there is a very low amount of iterations here. It's 32. The reason why that is because I only tested this for Saturday and Sunday, because this signal actually happened over the weekend, which was right there on Saturday, later on Saturday, I should say. So in this case, again, there is a limited amount, but over the past 3 years, pretty damn good. 81.25% strike rate for a move to the upside, to the tune of I think it was 3 to 4% on average. So let's see what that would look like on top of current price action. Obviously, 3% puts you at 23, and 4% puts you at 23.3. And 5% puts you at 23.5. The reason why this is very, very interesting to me is because if we do see that this one play out to the upside, then obviously the daily stochastic cost will also get flipped back onto the upside, as Bitcoin would, theoretically close above $23,000. You see all lower, medium, and higher term timeframes now working together with each other, hand in hand, and very likely get a move not just, into the shallow 23s, but probably does carry back on closer to the median of what we looked at on the daily over here, which would be, I don't want to say the number just yet because it's too far away and not relevant. But it would be closer to the deeper. It would be closer to 24 basically if it were to hit. What is the time intended to take? 10 bars. So 10 bars. That would be 10 times 4 is 40. 40 hours is what, a little bit more than 3 days. Well, this fired off again on Saturday. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah. So that actually plays out pretty damn well. So, if we are going to see this one play out, we'd probably see it Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. Again, that's in alignment with Jay Powell testifying, I believe, on those 2 days. So that kind of play with that event, I suspect. But of course, as always, these come with an invalidation. And the invalidation for this would be the same validation that we looked at on the 4-hour HPDR indicator for validation of lower price action, which would be below about 21.8, just this wick low right here. If that does happen, HPDR does suggest that somewhere down to 21 even to 21.1 region is probably where we would be looking for, basically around this last low from the 13th of February. Until that happens, though, statistics do say that upside's a little bit more likely than downside. Personally speaking, I'm not really super motivated by anything that we've seen in the short term here. I think that this is just kind of like cancer price action, not to make a dig at Mr. Tate, but maybe AIDS tier price action is the better word to be using. Yeah, no one gets offended by that anymore, I don't think. I don't know. I apologize if that is offending. Anyways, I think that's a good place for me to be leaving off before I say any more dumb shit. So with that said, I do want to shill Bybit really, really quickly. They got 0% on maker fees for derivative contract orders. They've been running that promotion for a long time now. It's, in my opinion, actually a very generous one, simply because, well, I don't really see anyone offering 0% on maker fees for derivatives. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one, of course. But yeah, that's available with the link description below. As always, make sure that's for you or not for you. You'll be the judge of that. Obviously, read the fine print, understand what you're getting into, and probably don't be trading if you don't actually have a real fucking strategy, as evidenced by our polls over here. It's it makes a lot of sense. What's keeping you from becoming a successful trader? I lack a working strategy, and I lack the trading psychology. That's interesting. I don't have something that works and that I don't know how to apply that thing that doesn't work. Fair enough. More power to you. And lag time, which probably actually, or basically almost the biggest one, makes a lot of sense actually to me. I mean, you do need a lot of time, which would be another thing for me to say. It's like, look, don't get on these fucking exchanges and try to be a trader if you just don't have the fucking time. It's like, you wouldn't try to do that in like a professional sport, don't do it with trading or like whatever you're professional at in your personal life. It's like, if I come in there just complete noob, I'm going to get my ass handed to me, like, obviously. Anyways, I'm just rambling on now. I apologize about that. I think we'll have more interesting things to be looking at tomorrow and very likely Wednesday. So with that all said, I want to be wishing you the best as always. Take care, much love. And once again, please do check out the survey in the link in the description below.